How do you get the attention of venture capitalists and angels from an angel network? And the answer is actually quite simple. I want to talk about that today. So if you don't know me, I'm Professor Dave Maslach. I'm Associate Professor of Innovation Strategy and Entrepreneurship. I created this whole Reciprocity Project to give back as much as I possibly can. So what I want you to think about is what is your end goal? What are you actually trying to do? And often what you're trying to do is get funds, right? If you're thinking about venture capital or angel investing, you're wanting to get funds, but I actually want you to think about the longer term. What is it that you actually want to do with the business that you're trying to form? And often, if you sort of think about where you want to go, you actually don't need venture capital and angel investors. You could do a lot of this stuff yourself. So if you can see what I'm actually doing with this, I've got this platform called Reciprocity.com. It's kind of a sharing economy editing platform, and I'm just building it out as I go. And I know it's rather ambitious, but I'm trying to just build this out, and if people want to join and participate and all that kind of stuff, they can, right? And if you have this mindset that you don't need this today, or you're sort of thinking about this in the long term, it sort of changes how you understand investing. And it changes what you actually do, right? Because I want you to actually keep most of the shares. I want you to keep most of your company. And so if you're not worried about things going very quickly, all of a sudden, the industry changes, all this kind of stuff, by all means, just just grow it organically in a very slow manner. Many businesses, in fact, I would say almost the majority of businesses in this world are actually done in that sort of way, where you're organically looking at where you want to go and sort of picking and choosing the opportunities that are best or that are most available to you. And the good thing is when you're doing that, is you're not spending a great deal of your funds and wasting a bunch of resources, and you're kind of waiting until it is the right time to get investment. Now, the same goes for you. If you're trying to think to get angel investors and venture capital, I just want you to sort of hesitate for a bit before you actually go and do that, because often you don't really need to get that investment. But if you're looking to get it, right, and you actually want to go through the effort of getting it, most major cities will have some sort of network or club of angel investors. So who are these angel investors? They're generally people that are just generous, to be honest. Investing in companies, for the most part, are not necessarily a profitable endeavor. And that's the kind of people that you want to sort of tap into. There's going to be a lot of scammy people out there. And your job is to weed out all of the scammy people that are going to try to take advantage of you. There's going to be tons of that happening, and they're going to want to take advantage of you and all these kind of things. So the best possible thing that you could do is wait to see that you actually have a profitable business that's growing, that's doing really well, and then looking to see who you can partner with that's not scammy, that is smart, what's called smart money, like people actually want to care about what you're doing and want to help you out, right? This sort of wheeling and dealing thing and all that kind of stuff, just be aware of that. It gives me heebie-jeebies with all of that kind of stuff. Fast money is never fast. It's a bad idea in general. It almost always leads to pain in the long run. So look for people that are actually legit and doing good things, right? And you'll know who these legit people are after you've interacted with them for a while and you get this sort of sense. So don't rush into it is what I'm saying. And so you could tap into these various different networks, angel networks that are in your town, that will, maybe there's one or two of them, just show up eventually and be part of the community. That's the way that I would do things. Just be part of the community. Start getting to know, say, hey, I'm here, I want to help out, whatever, actually be part of the community. But, for the most part, I would just work on your business and think about simple ways that you can work on your business so you actually don't need investment right at the get-go. Now, it's the same thing as venture capital, right? The venture capitalists know what is growing and what, they can understand when something is actually becoming a legit thing. They can really see it. Now, how do you get access to these individuals before you are, before it's a legit thing and it's growing and all that kind of stuff? Well, just keep being part of the community, right? Like actually be participating in the community. You can actually start working on, if you're really going in that direction, like start working on your pitch to get your idea down. And you're gonna have to do all of this stuff anyways. As you're working on your pitch, you're gonna have to start working and interacting with, trying to figure out how my thing is actually going to work. So you're gonna get a lot of information. You're gonna have to have various different prototypes to see if this thing actually is kind of basically functioning, right? Like there is a lot that you have to do by the time you are going to need to get to the point where you actually need investment of some sort. So generally the way that I think about it is you're thinking of investment, outside investment, as like you have this fire that's going pretty good, and you're just throwing gasoline on a fire, and it makes it really grow, it makes it really take off. And that's what you're looking for, right? Is kind of going in terms of exponential growth, but you don't really want to get into that until you're ready for it. Outside investors, particularly ones that are professionals, like venture capitalists and stuff like that, they're going to be pretty aggressive. They're going to make sure that they take a big chunk of your company. They're professionals at this, and you are a nobody, right? If you're watching this video and watching these YouTube videos, figure out how to do this, you're probably a nobody. And you have to think about like, okay, what is my position here? I don't have a lot of power. I'm going to be taken advantage of. So wait, grow slow, develop it, form a community around what you're already doing, right? It's really a lot more easier for an investor to come in and say, hey, there's this large community right here, and we just have to make these little tweaks and things will actually change and it will actually, really take off. Or if we get some investment here, it's going to really take off. But that's going to take an awful lot of work, and it's going to be very slow, and you're going to have to do this by yourself. And, it's scary and all of those kind of things. All of that stuff does not go away when you get investment. In fact, it gets worse because all of a sudden you're accountable to somebody else that's breathing down your neck. And if you have professionals that are really involved, they're really going to be breathing down your neck because they're looking for that return. They actually want a return. And so what they're going to do is put so much pressure on you that you're either going to go bankrupt or you're just going to be stressed out and it's going to be a giant disaster. Right? The rare thing is that it actually works out and it turns into something that's big. That's really uncommon. So I want you to grow slow, develop it in a methodical manner. I'm not saying like just abandon everything. That doesn't make sense. But grow slow, take it easy, take a step back and really work at it before it turns into something that's actually viable. Take your time. It really is going to pay off. And then look for the opportunities that you have at your fingertips. Those are really typically really simple, right? I want you to think about, you're thinking of making some big grand thing. There is so many people in this world that have made an empire and a fortune off of mowing lawns, off of snow plowing, off of like really simple things like that. Sock companies, like really simple things. They made a fortune off of these things, and yet they're really basic and they work. So think about how you can do this in a very simplistic way rather than jumping in too much into getting outside investment. It's not going to solve your problems. It often rarely does not. It causes a lot more problems. You have to be ready to prepare to take off, and that could be a little scary. All right, take care and have a wonderful day. Bye.